Hi boys and girls, Mrs. Brinker here, and I'm going to show you how we are going to paper mache your bowl. Last class we covered it with plastic wrap and Vaseline to give it 2 layers to protect the bowl so that the paper mache does not fit onto, or does not get stuck onto the bowl. Eventually once it's dry it'll come off. So today you're going to get some glue mixed with water for our paper mache paste, and then we're going to have a bunch of strips of white paper and of newspaper. To make a strong bowl you want to have at least 3 or 4 layers, and the first layer is going to be white paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dip my white paper in my glue solution. So this does get a little bit messy, and then I'm just going to squeegee the glue with my 2 fingers off of the strip so it's not so wet. And then I'm going to start by just laying the strips over the bowl, kind of in a snowflake design, and I want to make sure the strip is pretty smooth. And I'm going to have to tear them a little bit to be just the right size so they don't overlap or go past the ends of the bowl. We're not wrapping these around or anything, they're just laying on top of the bowl. So as you can see, I'm kind of doing a snowflake design with the white strips. And we want to do white first because that layer is going to be painted. So we don't want to be able to see the text through, which we'll see on newspaper. Now I'm going to try and fill in these gaps in between the strips around the sides of the bowl. Once the bowl is dry, we're going to trim the pieces that are too long, so it's okay if they stick out a little bit. So I'm going to start going the horizontal way around the outside of the bowl to make these pieces cover up and kind of smooth out the snowflake pieces or the vertical pieces. The idea is to keep your strips as smooth as possible, which can be challenging. But if I'm going horizontal, that means I want to cut the strips to be a little bit smaller, because if I take a whole strip, let me show you what's going to happen if I don't tear it, and I put it around the outside of the bowl, it's going to get all bumpy because it doesn't want to curve around the walls of the bowl. So I need to tear smaller pieces. So it wants to lay flat. So I'm almost done with my first layer. It looks like it's pretty evenly covered. I'm going to try and cover up that spot right there. After this layer, I am going to move on to the newspaper layer. So that's my first layer, so now I'm going to do the second layer. So I'm going to use newspaper, same way though. Start with a snowflake design. Looks like I just have a few more spots to cover up. Alright, so now I have 2 layers on my bowl, and I'm going to do one more layer of newspaper the same way I just did.